YouTube, man. Shibora, I'm back, man, with another ass. We got the Timberwolves are planning something big, man. Let's get straight to it, bro.
Anthony Edwards supposed to be the next face of the league. Kid's got a fun
big
game and personality. The NBA needs this, but guess what? Face of the league. Kid's got a fun game and personality. The NBA needs this.
They get mad at Jado.
But guess what? It ain't gonna happen without a championship. And if there's one thing we just learned, the Timberwolves are miles away.
Man, I mean, it's gonna help, but I damn near don't know if that's enough, bruh. I mean, obviously, two people ain't enough ever, but because they can possibly lose Nas, Reed, they gonna lose Randall probably in that trade, and they could possibly lose McDaniels. I don't know.
From the OKC Thunder. Oh, they may have both made the conference finals, but the Wolves were the JV team. Outside of one game, it wasn't even competitive. But the worst part, the Thunder will only get better from here. Younger, deeper, more talented.
No. I heard eventually they're going to have to pay one of them
Wolves
niggas,
are
right?
screwed.
So
cool that Minnesota isn't just comfortable making the conference finals. And remember, this is a team that drafted Kevin Garnett in 1995, had a decent run, but struggled more than anyone after trading him. After 07, they missed 16 of 17 playoffs. Doesn't get more basketball hell than that. So it would be easy to be like, yo, back-to-back conference finals? Yeah, let's just enjoy this. But no, they know how valuable having a superstar like Anthony Edwards is and don't want to waste him like they did KG. Eventually, dude gets fed up and leaves the team. So what can they do to finally get over the top? Well, the number one name that you're going to hear is Kevin Durant. Oh, the Wolves tried for KD at the deadline. There was mutual interest. Ant and Durant are friends and looked up to KD as his basketball idol growing up. But here's the problem. For what they would have to give up for KD, does that really close the gap on OKC? Were they a Kevin Durant away from just beating the Thunder? And the Suns aren't going to give up KD for free. I mean, other teams want him. We know serious interest from the Spurs, the Miami Heat, maybe even the New York Knicks potentially. How do the Wolves outbid those teams? I will tell you how. There is one player they would have to sacrifice for KD. We know about the Timberwolves draft picks. They can only trade number 17 in this year's draft on draft night only. Also, they've got one swap to deal in 2028. That is it. So easily beat by other teams for Durant unless they include Jaden McDaniels. Jaden is one of the most valuable role players in the NBA right now. And not just because he is a legit 6'9".
Like, that ain't popular. Obviously, you know Jaylen Browns and other two-way. And I had said to myself, like, when I was watching, this nigga like one of the best two-way players that don't got a name, like, type shit. Like,
player at 24 years old, but because he is on a team-friendly contract for years, which is 10 times more valuable in this second apron era. And you cannot give him up for a dude who's pushing 40 years old. It's just giving KD up for almost nothing. It is not gonna happen. I don't care what ESPN keeps telling us. Forget about it. But there is one other name that people are not mentioning, and it's not Giannis. So you've got to look at what the Timberwolves desperately need. And remember, it was a huge gamble dealing Cat before last year coming off of conference finals. They wanted to get off his Supermax contract for financial reasons, getting Randall and Dante DiVincenzo. But at first, it was ugly. They were only one game over 500 in January. Remember when Randall and Gobert blew up at each other in Toronto? It was a mess. The play-in to the 6th seed in the West, beat the Lakers in 4 games in round 1, and took advantage of Golden State with it. Scored 26 a night with 6 boards and 6 assists. Ant was clutch, Jaden a two-way beast. But then, once they faced a true healthy contender, they made the Thunder look like the 2017 KD Warriors. But why? Because OKC...
the Lakers were healthy. What the hell? Now they not a contender. But nigga, when that trade happened, they said, you know I'ma say it, nigga. They were like, him and Luka going to the finals. This is Luka's best teammate. This is LeBron's best teammate. And they was like, he had Jalen Brunson, he had Kyrie. What you think he gonna do with LeBron? Nigga, losing 5, nigga. That what he gonna do, nigga. Losing 5, nigga. Shout out Kyrie, nigga.
Thunder look like the 2017 KD Warriors. But why? Because OKC exposed 3 things about these Wolves.
Nigga, I'll never forget that. But I'ma keep a receipt, nigga. That one thing about me, boy. Oh God, nigga, stupid nigga. They gonna lose in 5. We only had Kyrie. Remember, you only had Kyrie. You only had Brunson, nigga. Put some respect on
Warriors. But why? Because OKC exposed 3 things about these Wolves.
First time Luka went to the final was with who? Nigga, Irving, nigga.
No legit
Stop
second
playing.
scorer next to Anthony Edwards. And yes, they had that in rounds 1 and 2, but in the biggest games, from Cat to now Julius Randle, Ant has never had a reliable number 2 in the biggest spots. So OKC could then key on Edwards and shut him down. So dude went uncharacteristically quiet in games 1, 4, and 5, and that's not all his fault. Ant needs consistent help. Like with Randle in the series, they had a 101.9 offensive rating. Yo, the dead last Washington Wizards were better on offense this year.
Yeah,
that's
a problem.
They
ain't even playing in the playoffs. That don't matter. That's playoff basketball, nigga. You think playing regular season.
Washington Wizards were better on offense this year.
That don't matter.
That's a problem. Now, number 2 was a lack of ball handling. Ant was double-teamed a lot all year,
including besides Conley, bro. Like, what type of roster was that? I ain't gonna lie.
And Mike Conley is good at organizing the offense, but he is so far past his prime at 37. They need somebody to take pressure off Ant.
He need to be the backup PG if they keep him, bro. Like, he ain't ass. He still got a little something. Well, I don't know if he got something for next year, but he had a little something left, bro.
To truly unleash him as a scorer. We know Rob Dillingham is years away from that at the highest levels. So a major offseason need. And exposed number 3 was a need for clutch performers. And this one is hard to describe, but the Wolves basically look like they quit in Game 5 against OKC, down by like 30 points. And they did the exact same thing last year, people don't remember, against Dallas. Yeah. Game 5, about to lose the entire season, and they were down by like 30 plus points. How does that happen back-to-back years? The entire season, and they were down by like 30 plus points.
I'm gonna take some shit personally, but that one, oh God. Because, nigga, why you keep showing Luka, bro? That damn near was Kyrie's series. Luka just hit big shots, but come on, man.
How does that happen back-to-back years? Well, Karl Anthony Towns was the scapegoat last offseason, so who is it now? Well, the first 3 names to mention are potential free agents. Julius Randle, Naz Reid, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker come back for financial reasons. But who's that going to be? Well, Naz and Julius Randle each have a player option, so it's up to them. Only one team has serious cap space this offseason, the Brooklyn Nets. So unless the Nets are about to break the bank for Randle or Naz Reid, I will bet that both of them opt in to the final year to be a free agent next summer, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker is gone. But the good news is Minnesota is then under the second apron and able to make trades. So who is out there to get? Well, one name to watch is Derek White. Boston needs to get cheaper, and White can be amazing next to Ant. Dude has been key to both the Spurs and the C's, and he won a gold medal in Paris next to Edwards. Plus, he improves their basketball IQ, adds ball handling, and instant offense. But he's not a big name. So what about Darius Garland? Well, plugged-in Cavs reporter Chris Fedor says the only untouchables in Cleveland right now are Donovan Mitchell and Evan
he can be better than Conley.
But Garland is exactly what the Wolves are looking for. He is a talented, true point guard who drops over 20 a night. Plus, the Cavs have the same problem as Minnesota did last year. Fell short in the playoffs, are super expensive. So like Cat, Cleveland needs to get off a big salary. But what would it take? Well, assuming that Randle opts in, then maybe the Wolves get Darius Garland, the Cavs get Julius Randle, that 2028 swap, and a 2029 second from the Wolves, and the Hawks get Dante DiVincenzo and a number 17 pick thrown in just to make this whole thing work. But why would Cleveland ever do that? Well, they probably won't without Jaden McDaniels, but in this scenario, they do it basically to get under the second apron, and also they get Julius, who isn't nothing. He can play small forward with some defense, and the Cavs could add somebody to play point guard like a Dennis Schroeder to replace
so who would be the starting lineup? Garland and McDaniels? And who's in that spot? Or is it I don't get. Hold on.
Now, I know that's a stretch, but a 25-year-old like Darius is much more likely effective and smart than a 37-year-old Kevin Durant. But the entire offseason in the NBA is going to run through San
like that better,
Antonio.
too. I ain't gonna lie.
We know that the
They needed
Spurs
a
are on
PG
both
bag.
KD and Giannis. But what about Victor Wembanyama? Dude had another legitimate growth spurt.
All right,
and
man.
many people thought that this video...
Y'all boy tell me what y'all think with that, bro. I'm out, man. No cap, bro.